Okay, that's there. So things are kind of coming around again. Stuff's kind of normaling out. So time to go outside. Guess what? It's winter. It's going to be cold. It's going to be gray. It's going to last you the rest of your life. So we are going to be tying a winter steelhead bug that is going to somewhat look kind of like that, hopefully, when we're done with this. So it's not going to be a crazy intruder. You know how much I love those. And pretty much anyone can tie this, even with very few skills, such as yourself. So pretty basic material list. We're just starting out with some marabou. We're going to have it in a couple different colors. This one is silver Dr. Blue, but any light blue will work. We're going to go next with a darker blue. This is dark turquoise, or they used to call this kingfisher blue. It's a darker turquoise. Then we're going to throw in some turkey flank, but if you are at a fly shop, they are calling it intruder prop. Same thing. And then more marabou. So finish it off with just classic black. It's the longer stuff. You could use the shorter quills, but I don't like to because I want some more movement. And then we're going to kind of do a smorgasbord of flash. So I've really been liking this barred flashaboo. It's not as flashy. It's kind of more muted, but I just like the barring. Instead of using barred ostrich or rhea, that looks great when you tie the fly, and then you get it wet and it's immediately crumpled. It dries out and you never use that fly again. This stuff's awesome. It's synthetic, obviously. This isn't grown on an animal, and so it wicks away water, looks good after it dries. This stuff kind of sucks, to be honest. It really likes to stick together. That's why we kind of discontinued it. It's holographic mylar motion, whatever that is. And it's all the colors. They all kind of stick together. But if you kind of keep pulling on them and straighten them, they're okay. I just like that. It's got like this little bit of chartreuse in there. These are things that the fish don't care about. Okay, no one cares except who's ever tying it. And then I don't know. We might get a little freestylish. This is another color that I've been really tying a lot with this year. All species bullfrog. Shout out Eric that comes into the shop for turning me on to that color. And then we got some just diamond pearl flat braid. Is this a necessity too? Probably not. But I recently was fishing with my buddy Jeremiah, and he tied an Adachi style, Northern California style clouser. And when he put the rattle in there, he wrapped it with that braid just to kind of secure it. But also in the water, when the light hits it, it kind of just makes that fly glow. Again, is this going to make fish eat your fly? I don't know. But when I looked at it, I was like, that's going to make a fish eat that fly. So without further ado, we're going to be tying on Pro Sport Fisher, the Flexi Tube Clear Large. It's 40-40. I don't know if it could have a longer name. The Pro Sport Fisher, say it 10 times fast. This stuff's awesome, except it sucks also because it doesn't melt good. You try to melt the end after you're done tying, and it melts all wonky and it builds up. It drives me insane. The other stuff, I'm blanking on the name right now. We carry it at the shop too. It's a lot softer and it just melts so nice. Love it. Froden, that's it. So the Froden tubing is very nice, but it's not connected like these. These come as one piece, so I can just chop a little off the back and chop a little off the front, and I got my tube size because I'm lazy. And I just can't be bothered to get the Froden tubing medium and then put the small and wrap it and glue it. I mean, I can't and I won't anymore. And they sometimes come apart. So there's pros and cons. Anyways, we're going to get to it. I promise. I'm going to tie a fly. So let's get this guy out. And then we got to get our adapter. Of course, no two adapters work the same. So you got to get the Pro Sport Fisher adapter. Pop that guy in there, and then we're just going to do a little trim job on this guy, so I don't need to use all that tube. So kind of dealer's choice. Again, pro tip, just a little nose grease oil, put it on that adapter. So when you're done tying this fly, you can actually get that tube off. Sometimes it's just on there so tight, you're just reefing and you destroy your fly. So I'm going to tie some of the fly on the back half here, just a little bit, and then some on the front. I just like that it goes from large tubing to small, because when you pull that loop knot in, the knot sucks in here and butts up right against the end, and then your hook's right back here. There's a lot of tube flies that are, sold commercially that are only tied on the extra small, so you can't get the knot in there. So it kind of just floppy poppy of just this hook dangling down. It drives me insane. Sometimes I'll get in there with a bodkin and get it hot and put it in the tube and kind of try to circle it around to flare it up a little bit, but not really, not so much anymore. I just tie my own. Okay, and then I like a lot of unweighted tube flies, especially in the winter, because you want to be fishing after a really high water event as that water's dropping. That's your number 100% chance that there's a fish in the river you're fishing at that point, at least. The rain brings the fish in. They're kind of cruising around. It starts to drop. They're like, all right, everybody, find your spot. And then you got, a day or two of really, really good fishing, high probability chances. They're going to be in close, light tips, big, unweighted flies, just kind of doing the dance in the soft water. That being said, I do like the Pro Sport Fisher. You'd think I'd be sponsored by them. I am not. It's a raw weight, so it's tungsten, and it's extra small. And so it's really cool. I don't like dumbbell eyes. If you've tied a lot of marabou flies with dumbbells after you fish them for, one time even, like all the materials are at the top and it's all flat where the dumbbells are. It drives me nuts. Or like you knock it on a rock and one of them flies off. They're also pretty heavy. Just a bunch of stuff I don't like about them. They're lead. So the tungsten raw weight right there slips on the tube. It can't come off. It's there for life. And, kind of another pro tip that not great for fly shops, but they're like $8 for the pack. So if you fish a fly for a season and it's kind of ragged, just cut that tube right here, pull the raw weight out, nothing happened to that, throw it back in your bag, you're good. So if you've seen any of my tying videos, I really like to make sure stuff sticks and you build your fly to last, so everything kind of gets a little bit of zap-a-gap, a little bit of UV cure as you work through. So the first part of this guy is we're just going to wrap the thread to the back. You don't need to do super tight wraps. You're just trying to get that thread back there. And then you get about, an amount of this diamond braid. Let's call it 6 inches. That way, you definitely have enough to tie in, right? So just pop that guy right on there. And just wrap up all the way to that raw weight and give it a little coat of Zap-A-Gap. Again, the brush style Zap-A-Gap is the only way to fly. And if you didn't see the tip last time, my buddy Jason told me this, you just get some chapstick, and the first time you take this lid off, just coat, not this part. God, do I have to really do it? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? That guy. Just coat that all the way around, and this cap will never glue to that container ever again, because it happened to me every single time I ever bought one. I really liked the applicator bottle style, but I would use it for one fly and then it would just super glue shut, and that's that. And I'd just be screaming in the basement, just like, what the heck, why the hell, or, who designed this thing, whatever. Turns out I'm stupid. So all you got to do is that, then you can use it every time, right? That's great. So No biggie. Just wrap that guy to the front. Pretty straightforward. I will say this: the Renzetti vices. I mean, everybody's got their favorite. Again, I don't get anything from them, but I've had this vice for like 13 years. One day I'll do a close up of the base. It just looks like black magic. You know, when you're like a kid in elementary school and you just use every color crayon on a piece of paper, then color it with black, and then like put little slices in it. It's all different colors. Maybe it's just me. That's what this looks like. Covered in Zap-A-Gap. 13 years old. All the stuff's worn off. Takes a licking. Keeps on kicking. Keeps on ticking? I don't know. I haven't had coffee today. What am I doing? Second part. Okay, so we got that. Yay, coral braid. We're going to go ahead. I used to like use EP brush to get like a big shoulder. I would cut like temple dog or something, spin a dummy loop, try to get that big, barrier to hold prop stuff up. I think it's a waste of time. It doesn't let your fly sink very quickly, especially the EP brushes around there. I love EP brushes on a lot of different flies. My steelhead flies, I don't put them in there anymore. And if you just have a lot of material and they're trying to hold up the rest of your marabou and stuff, it just doesn't sink. And you don't need a huge profile. Like I used to do like a fly called the lava lamp. It's a fully reverse tied marabou tube, and the thing is massive in the water, and there's not a lot of material, so it sinks okay, but like I think you catch more fish on just that kind of medium to almost small sized fly, even in dirty water. That's just me. So we're going with the light blue first. It's kind of key to try to pick out a really good feather. That's kind of obvious, but you want like the really long and not sparse, but kind of fine feathers, if that makes any sense. You don't want it real clumpy, stuck together. So like, don't get crazy about it. Just, find one that works. The other thing I've been trying to do myself is as I'm tying, putting materials back in their package. Like, what did that take me? 5 seconds, maybe? And just placing it over there. I'm 42, and up until this year, I would just take a feather out, chuck the rest of the feathers, right? Then grab some flash boot, chuck. The table is a nightmare, okay? It is destroyed. And you'll be more efficient tying your flies if you just take the time, put the stuff back, you're good to go, you know where everything's at. I'm not crazy OCD, but there's a little tendencies that happen. So like, here we go. This is a pretty good feather. And you're gonna start pulling it out right here where it starts to get thick. So you just peel all that off. Okay. And then you're just gonna kind of separate the fibers up here where it starts to get shorter. And you can use a little wet sponge or a bowl of water. I know everybody says like, oh, the feathers are full of carcinogens. It's really bad to touch them, with your fingers and then put them in your mouth. Have you met me? I mean, is anything I do good for me? No, nothing. Nothing. So I'm not going to worry about licking a couple feathers. Watch. Like, fast forward 10 years, it's like fly fishing guy dies of cancer from feathers, and then they show this clip, and then I look stupid, right? Or worse than I usually look. So, good. Just kind of pull those guys back. Some guys do it with like the blade of the scissors. I don't like doing that. I think they're kind of fragile enough that I don't need to be attacking them with the blade of a pair of scissors. You just want that stuff to fold back as you wrap it forward. No big deal. And I do different numbers of wraps every time. I kind of want the whole feather in there. I'm not going to put like 8 wraps on there, but 3 or 4. Some people say, 2 wraps and keeping it real sparse. And yeah, their flies look great. You can do that too. Just do whatever works for you. So I don't even know. I was talking. I don't know how many wraps that was. Probably 3, maybe 4. Uh-oh, that didn't look good. Whatever happened there. Thought I had tension on it. I did not. That's okay. I didn't want that last piece in there anyways. There we go. So tie that in nice and tight. Cut the stem off. If that wasn't obvious, just leave that in there. It's just looks great. And you can get a little brush if you want to. I don't know how important this is, but creature habit. Okay, so there we go. That would probably catch a fish, but we're gonna keep going. And then second marabou, that darker turquoise or kingfisher blue, same thing. Kind of digging around for a good one. That's not it. I mean, this one's kind of squirrely, but usually I wouldn't pick this one, but whatever. I'm picking it today. Look at me, 2 packs in a row, putting feathers away. Real grown up now, Eric. Okay. So, meaning squirrely, like this one's got a little twist in it, but we're going to see if we can make it work. Same thing, just, get all those bushy feathers down there. Yeah, this isn't going to be too bad, I think. And the same as the last feather, just separating that shorter stuff at the top, putting it right in front of that last feather. Sometimes I fold that stem back and then tie it off. It's just added kind of security. Really make sure that's not going anywhere. And then just wrap it forward. And if your thread's kind of close and getting in the way every time you wrap, which tends to do, you can just do like 2 loose wraps and move it all the way to the front of the tube just to kind of get it out of your way. I can just hear people right now being like, hey, if you had that little tool that sticks out, you can hang your thread there. I don't like that. Okay. So I'm not going to use it. Okay, yeah, okay. That actually is looking not too shabby. Good, right there. Hold that, back those off, right? See if I can not mess this one up this time. All that stuff out of the way. Go. Big stem out of there. Cool. Give it a little brush. Just a little. Just channel your inner Bob Ross. Just a little brush. Just give it a little. Just a little brush. So that first feather was blue. Now it's really kind of looking white into light blue into dark blue. So that's nice. So kind of the magic, if you want to call it that, is the turkey flank here, is the intruder prop. So I used to have it like in the back end, everyone's like building, dubbing balls and wings and stuff like that. And then I saw just like a Idlewiles fly, if anybody knows that company from back in the day. And they always had like guinea and like at the very front of their tube flies. And that's pretty stiff material. And I just noticed that like they're just their tube flies with like 2 wraps of marabou. That's it. Having that guinea just like kept a pretty nice profile, and I think the water kind of moving through those stiffer fibers kind of displaces the marabou. They just move really good. It's a really simple, easy way to get your fly dancing without spending like 2 hours on an intruder. And I'm not going to get on an intruder rant, but they're pointless. They're just, if you like fishing really big flies that take you a long time to tie, and they look gorgeous, you're not going to catch more fish than a marabou tube, and it probably doesn't move as good. People are like, oh, mine. I'm just like, no, there's too much stuff in there. It doesn't breathe. Now I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail. So get that intruder prop, aka turkey flank. Oh, that's nice. That's good. And same thing, going right in front of that previous marabou feather. In there, cut it off. There we go. Okay, come on. So this stuff's real stiff, real webby. Right in front. What's going on here? Something's going on. Something got trapped in there. Okay. There we go. Just one of the little fibers on that feather just did not want to go. So maybe like, it looks like about 2 wraps, maybe 2 1/4. And tie it off. So basically we've tied in, diamond braid, 2 feathers of marabou, and a turkey flank. So again, not a crazy amount of different materials or techniques. You don't have to do any dubbing loops or anything like that. This turkey flank is pretty webby, so I do like to get just a brush and just kind of displace those feathers just a little bit. And then this guy's definitely getting a little coat of Zap-A-Gap or super glue, because you definitely want that feather. That's kind of like the secret sauce in there, right? You don't want that thing moving or getting loose or anything. It's going to get chomped on, so just make sure it stays. You got that. Take the feathers, put them back. Cool. So we got those out of the way. That's out of the way. And then we're going to go last marabou. Just solid black. Find a good one. This package kind of sucks. That's one of the many things that's kind of a bummer about COVID, is that just like every distribution, getting different stuff, or they're just running low or whatever. But definitely noticed that, a lot less of the feathers these days are the big, plush, A-grade stuff. But what can you do, right? People are like, I lost my job in my house during COVID. I'm like, well, I can't get good feathers. Same thing, right? Same level right there? No. So separate the top. Maybe just kind of feel around and make sure that Zap-A-Gap's just not like there's a clump in there or something to mess your whole day up. Then just pop that guy on top. Maybe. Come on. There we go. And a little trim. Good. Same thing, just palmer that forward. Just make sure that the little itty bitty fibers when you start out, everything's going the same way. You don't want anything starting to poke out that way. Like that. See those two guys? Just hold them down and wrap right around them. Move my thread out of the way just a little bit. Maybe like another little half turn. Good deal. So yeah, I just really like when you can get those colors to blend together. It's not just like a drastic change from blue to black or whatever colors you're putting together. When you can get that kind of nice blending. Again, I don't think the steelhead's like, hey, Paul, check this out. And they swim up and they're like, look at the blend job on this crunch, right? No one does that. But we all know when you open up the box and you pick out a fly and there's just something, you're like, man, that's the one. So you can fish it like that, right? But I kind of like my buddy, I think it's Ben or Rob, one of the guys I take fishing, they like teardrop. They always call it, oh, your flies, you got that teardrop. So just a little bit longer on the sides. I think it kind of helps not keel the fly, but well, I guess maybe it just doesn't roll. Some of the marabou tubes, they kind of want to roll on you sometimes or spin. So got the fluorescent blue black barred flashabou, and I don't know, maybe 8. I don't know. Not a ton, but pretty good amount. And again, I'm kind of using this to replace ostrich, and I don't like put it all over the fly. It just goes right on the side, and I want it about 1.5 inches or so longer than the very ends of the marabou. Give it a couple turns. Then just fold it onto the other side there. Just like so. So what that does is it just creates a little bit of length, obviously, back there. And a little bit more movement. And surprisingly, it doesn't foul on that trailer hook as much as you think. You're going to get a little fouling occasionally, but I'll take it if I can get the movement that I'm looking for. Again, just a little zap treatment. That's fine. There we go. And then if you want, like I said, you could put in more Flashaboo. We'll just put in like, I don't know, not very much of this stuff. Maybe just like 3 strands. Very little. See, I got too many. Yeah, so that's like 3. But it's not as long, so I just see it's not long enough. I guess if I pulled it all the way out of the package, this is stuff you don't need to know. I'm gonna do I even want this in here? I'm gonna just say no. So this stuff, don't need it. But I do like this stuff. So some of the bullfrog Flashaboos go in it. This guy, it's kind of like a black and green and blue combo. It's cool. So I'm gonna grab like pretty good chunk. Let's see, was that 2, 4, maybe like 8 or 9. A good amount there. And just same area with that with the barred Flashaboo. Just stack it right on top of it. And then again, just take all that stuff and put it on the other side. And that's it. Oh, so I'll show you a little trick with this stupid tubing that doesn't want to melt right. Let's put a 1/2 inch or whatever in it, 2 1/2 inches, whatever you like, just to kind of finish it off. And this is where we're going to use the UV cure. Okay, so push that tube all the way off, or till it's clear, and then cut it real close, like right up on it. Boom. Push it all the way back on the tube, and then get your UV cure. And just kind of cover that whole thing. Getting low. Pretty much the whole guy's covered. Get the largest UV light on the planet and hit it up. That should be good. So that is about it. Let's get that little color one more time. Just a couple layers of marabou, some turkey flank. So that's why it doesn't, you don't have to melt it right there, right? You just cut it close and hit it with UV cure. That's not going anywhere. It's got lots of flash, maybe not too much. Definitely got some movement. It's going to be an easy fly to cast, that's for sure. So clients can cast it. It's got a big profile, so the fish are going to see it. It's not super huge, so you could use it kind of normal flows. I've caught fish in low water, clear water with it. It's kind of that subdued color, black and blue. Everybody knows it's great. And then it also works great when the river's up. It's close to the bank. It's not going to sink because it's not super heavy. All the fibers are undulating and stuff. So, yeah, I love it. This is like one of my favorite flies that I fish in the wintertime. I probably fish this fly more than any fly because that's what I got confidence in. So tie it in all your colors. Some other combos you could do is kind of like maybe an apricot to an orange to a red. Maybe I'll tie one up and throw it on my Instagram. It sounds pretty good, actually. You could put grizzly hackles in it if you want. This is just like a quick and easy, like, let's go, let's get it done. You could tie it, kind of in a purple. You get that lilac to magenta to dark purple. That'd be kind of a cool one. Maybe just a black feather in front. So mix and match your favorite color schemes. Try some different flash. Get out there, swing one up. Good deal.